Hey everyone, Ryan from Review Trigger. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to show you guys strategies our clients use. I'm going to talk about some case studies. I'm just going to fill your brain with a ton of knowledge on how to get more reviews from your customers as you use our product or any other review tool similar to ours. So here's what I'm going to show you guys today. I'm going to minimize myself so you can see my screen a little bit better. I'm going to show you through a case study here for Milwaukee Pedal Tavern. This is actually my business. This is actually why Review Trigger exists. Is I got obsessed with reviews when I realized, as a small business owner myself, how impactful they are in terms of bringing you more leads. Basically, it's one of these magical 2-for-1 marketing nuggets and effective positioning for us with tour operators, TripAdvisor. For most businesses, the Google search page, that local 3-pack, that beachfront real estate of internet marketing. And the other great thing about reviews is they build confidence. Confidence makes it easy for customers to pull the trigger. These are my 3 tour businesses. We're number 1 on TripAdvisor in Milwaukee and number 2. So our 2 businesses are top 1 and 2. Nashville, number 2 out of 70. We were actually number 1 for like 5 years until COVID. We've only been open 3 weeks. Recency is a big part of the algorithm. TripAdvisor and Google, we'll talk about that. And as you guys are kind of taking all this information and looking at the strategies from these other businesses, what I want you to think about when you're thinking about review capture and implementing this into your own business, think about it as a Venn diagram. So it's 2 spheres. So it's the review request tool, like a TripAdvisor, or a Review Trigger or a tool like ours. And then it's the strategy in which you ask your customers and implement it into your business. So the better you marry those 2 together, the more reviews you'll end up snagging. You know, I always like to say, like, think about it this way. Let's say you're a business, you do 20 jobs. You have 20 interactions with customers, 20 completed jobs. Maybe you're an auto body shop. Over the course of the year, that's 1,000 customers. So if you had like a basic review strategy, maybe you're flicking out the review request via text message, not very good timing, 5% conversion. If you're flicking them out, better timing, sending them via text message, not email, we'll talk about that. Timing, maybe you're verbally teeing it up a little bit sometimes, 10%. If you're really good, maybe you're giving them a physical takeaway. Thank you so much. Thank you note. You're verbally teeing it up. Hey, it's super important for our small business, especially these days. It'd be a mean the world to us if you leave us a review. 20%. So that really is the key, and we'll get into that. Is it's timing, verbal tee up. Those 2 really go further than you think. So let me illustrate that case study I had mentioned earlier. So this is a good one to look at because it's the same business with almost the same customer count. If you look at how many tours we've done year to year, they're pretty similar. Like they go up a little bit, but not a lot. But the conversion's huge. So year 1, what we were doing is we were sending out our review requests via email next day. We had a cool, slick little tool where I could automate MailChimp to my booking software, fire it out next day. I thought I had come up with the world's most clever thing back in 2015. I thought I was a genius for this. Was looking through the numbers and I was like, what, 5.6? That's like not that many. The bottleneck that I found in the conversion process was the email open rate is so low. Even in 2015, it was low, and it's getting lower. Right now, we're at about a 13% open rate email when you send a business to consumer email. So it's not just the open rate on email. I mean, that's bad, 13%. It's also the timing. So like review requests, there's definitely every business, regardless of who you are, you have a sweet spot of when you should ask the customer when they're most excited about your product, your brand, your service. And so if you send it via email, the average time in which they open the email from when you send it is 20 minutes or 20 hours. So it's like next day. Whereas text message, depending on whose stats you're looking at, between a 90 and 98% open rate, and typically about 5 minutes from when you send it when they will open it, which is amazing. If we're trying to do review requests, timing is of the essence. So I switched the next year text message, 7.9%. Not a big lift, especially when you consider the fact that the open rate is so much higher, almost 5 times higher, text message versus email. So what I did is I realized I was doing something that we hear our customers, because we talk to thousands of businesses when they sign up over the course of time. We hear this all the time. I only care about TripAdvisor reviews. I'm talking to such a narrow sample size of the population. 70% of the population is left an online review. Only 13% has ever left a TripAdvisor review. So I'm talking to this narrow population. So when we started using review pages where it's Google, Facebook, TripAdvisor, let the customer pick the option because they're comfortable with different sites. That's just human nature, right? Different brands people use. You're talking to a way bigger audience that opened the floodgate. That's how we got up to 23.3. And the other thing is I started to do an employee contest. So I've always told my employees ask for reviews at the end. But what I started to do is I said, okay, here's the deal. You guys are taking people out on these tours. You're getting to know them. You're building a relationship with them. At the end of the tour, be like, hey, name drop me in a review. My boss gives me a cash tip. I wrote that in the follow-up text message too. Amazing how much better they got at teeing it up. I was actually paying people $20 if they got a name drop in a review the first year. Look at that, 400. So we had like 400 reviews where they got a name drop. So it was a big bonus, but not a bad thing to spend money on. To be clear on the incentivization and employee contest, you cannot incentivize a customer to leave a review, but you can have employee contests, and I highly recommend doing that. Here's how we send the reviews, and I'm going to show you guys a couple other strategies too. We use appointment reminders. So again, like reviews, this is kind of like a magical 2-for-1, in that it's a customer service automation. It reduces the no-show rates. Sometimes we catch tours that had canceled that we forgot to pull out. We send them as pre-launch, happy paddle day, so this one's for our boats. Check in 30 minutes before the tour. Address, they call for that all the time. What can I bring? Bring your own beer. 3 per rider is kind of our suggestion. When you arrive, drop off, right? So hit them with the information they call. After the tour, 30 minutes after, and this works really well, this automated sequence, because of the volume that we do and because all of our tours are the exact same length. We send out, thanks for boating with us. We'd love if you left us a review. They're so helpful for our new business. Link to the review page. P.S. Name drop. Okay, this works for our business. Now, it doesn't work for every business because some businesses don't have like that exact time block. You know, if you're a plumber, maybe it's a 2-day job, maybe it's a 1-day job. Maybe you thought it was a 1-day job, but you got to go back. Don't send that. You got to be careful when you're sending the timing. The timing is key. So I'm going to show you guys another case study, and this one's really impressive because if you look at this gentleman here, this is our friend Kent out in Napa. He does wine tours. He is number 1 out of 320 vendors. This is one of the most crowded spaces that we found anywhere on TripAdvisor. This is so crowded. So how does this guy get to number 1? He's been there for like 4 years too. Okay, so I'm actually going to open up the TripAdvisor page here and I'm going to show you. So if you look at Kent's business, he's number 1, 1,100 reviews. Now I want to go down here a little bit of ways. This guy's our client too, so is this guy. Look at number 6 here, 6,300 reviews. Wait, how is our client We Drive outfoxing and pacing Platypus when they have 6,300 reviews? That doesn't even make sense. Okay, it's because of how the algorithm works, and this is Google too. It's 3 things, and they were kind enough, the TripAdvisor CEO at one point was kind enough to announce this. It's number of reviews you have. That makes sense. Average score of your reviews. That makes sense. And recency. So consistently adding reviews is super important to the algorithm. And it makes sense too, because we hear this all the time from customers when they first sign up. They're like, okay, I need to get reviews. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a product like yours. I'm going to blast every single one of my customers. Problem solved. Got a bunch of reviews. Move on with my stuff. It doesn't work that way because it looks fishy. You're hitting tripwires. Hey, this business I've gotten a review for 3 years. Now they got 25 this month. That's not right. Consistently getting reviews is key. Now, how is Kent doing this where he's getting reviews so consistently? So what he's doing, and if I would use this strategy if I was like a flooring business, if I was like a cabinet installer, if I did any type of furniture, delivery, anything where you have a very visual product, what he does is he takes photos of the groups while they're out. So he even sets it up in the beginning. We're going to visit some beautiful places. I'll take some photos of you guys. I want you to be present, enjoy the moment. And then he sends them to him at the end with the thank you message that's pre-populated in his phone using text replacement. Nice little thing. Has the link to the review page. And it doesn't look automated. It looks like he sent a perfectly timed note. And then he's got them in his car on the way back to their Airbnb after they've been drinking. He's really got a lot of things going for him. He claims that he gets around a 70% conversion, which is truly amazing. But it shows you how like an underdog, a guy with 2 vehicles, can beat a legacy business here. Where'd that guy go? Platypus, who's got like 20, 30 vehicles. David can beat Goliath with a good review strategy. All right, I'm gonna go back to our presentation here. So one thing I wanted to talk about is conversion blockers. So there are things out there, review tools, that seem like they're a really good idea conceptually, but they're not thought through very well. So here's a perfect example. I went and got my car fixed this past week. They did a great job. They cleaned it. They had a thank you note. They were super nice. I had gone in there a few times, so I kind of got to know the guy a little bit. They sent me a survey. And they sent it to me the next day. Okay, so the timing's off and the survey's up. Now, here's the deal. I have a friend who's an orthodontist, and he was using something like this. He showed me, he's like, I have 1,100 customer reviews. He was so excited to tell me this. I'm like, dude, you have 10 Google reviews. What are you talking about? He got all of these people to do these surveys. And then at the end of the survey, if it's a good survey, they send him a message to do a review request. So it looks like an email automation error. Like, no, I just did that survey. Why am I doing another survey? I already did it. Blah, blah, blah. Delete. Do not do the survey. You have to realize what it is, right? So when you're asking a customer to leave you a review, you're asking a customer that just gave you money to do a personal favor for you. It's kind of bonkers when you think about it that way, right? So you need to make it as clean, fluid, and simple for them. Do not put any blockers in there. You have a short window of attention. Send them a text, verbally tee it up, make it easy, 1-2 steps. Don't put a survey. I mean, it makes sense, right? Like, the one thing that a lot of business owners are making a mistake, and this is your opportunity to leapfrog them, right? Because it is a race with how the Google algorithm works. They're so scared to get a negative review that they'll send the survey to make sure that nobody that ever says anything but amazing things sends them the review. Okay, I'm going to show you guys some other strategies here. We use automated appointment reminders. If you're using any type of appointment reminder, any type of SMS communication tool where you can easily flick customers' messages, delivery notifications, it's a really great one to do it. The pages have that quick review link, so it's very easy. We have some like lawyers and realtors that have like follow-up calls, right? So they call them, hey, just checking in to get that final paperwork done. Keys are ready. Hey, your check's ready. The settlement's done. Oral surgery. Hey, how you doing? Checking in on you. That's a great time to send the review request when you're on the phone with them, on the follow-up, making sure everything's all right. Perfect time, send the review request. If you have a physical takeaway, it's a great one. You guys have probably been distracted by this entire presentation because you've been looking at this cactus I just bought. This is my home office that I've remodeled during the quarantine. I bought this cactus. I spent a lot of time talking to the woman about cactuses, how much do you water them, how much do you feed them. And she gave me this great takeaway of like how much light they should get. Everything, right? This would have been a perfect thing to have a review request thing stapled in here. Thanks so much. It'd be great if you could leave us a review. We're kind of a specialty business. Any visibility helps. If you have any type of physical takeaway, give it to them. Tee it up verbally. I cannot say that enough. All right. Let's just go to the takeaways on this, and then I'm going to jump in quick. I'm going to show you how easy it is to send a review request on our platform, and I'm going to show you that thing if you're like, hey, I really want Google reviews. I get I should be using multiples. I'm going to show you a cool little trick we've come up with. Okay. Verbal tee up, send via SMS, way higher open rate, way better timing. Timing is key. Every business has that like time when they should be sending it. Clean, fluid, quick, and easy. Make it super simple and clean for them to see the review message. Consistency is key on the algorithm. It is a bit of a race, whether you're on Google or TripAdvisor, right? So you want to get more reviews than your competitors so you stand out. So being better than your competitors. And keeping in mind that a lot of your competitors either aren't using a review tool or they're using it in kind of like that basic fashion where they're not getting a lot of reviews, or they're so scared to get a negative review that they're doing something like with a survey, or they're only sending them if somebody gives them like positive feedback. It's okay to get a negative review. Statistically showing you want your score to be above a 4. 94% of people, when they see a 4 or above, instantly trust your brand. If it's a 3.9 or below, it goes to 58%. But if it gets too close to 5, it looks fake. So they've found on Amazon and any e-commerce is always a good one to watch because they have the best data. 4.2 to 4.8 is where a score has peak conversion. That's where most people will buy a product because they feel like it's real and legit. It's okay to get a negative review. It's all about how you respond. Okay, we're gonna jump into our profile here. Automation is cool, automated review requests, but timing is cooler. So we wanted to make it super easy for our customers to send a review request. So in our platform, what we recommend doing is we made this little link here. If you go to review request, so it always goes a little slow on these screen shares. Apologies. Okay, go to these client staff forms. This magic link right here, if you see how it has a token, basically it's a username and a password built in. What we recommend doing is copy, saving, and bookmarking this. And then you have it so you can just one click open right to the review request. You can save it to each device in your office. If you have multiple employees out in the field of tablets, everybody can have this saved. Makes it really easy. One click open. And that's super simple. You just got to put the customer's phone number and their name. A lot of times, if you're using another system like a cash register, or CRM, you probably already have all their information in, so you can just copy and paste it. I'm going to put my name in. You don't need to put last name, just first name. Tag optional. That's for employee contests. So if you have different salesmen, they can put their name in. You could have an employee contest to see who sent the most review requests. If you want to do something internal, I highly recommend that. Hit send. And that blue box means it's been sent. And I'm going to show you my phone. Hopefully you can see it. It has already arrived. Timing is key. Okay, one more thing I want to show you guys. We talked about the conversion blockers and making sure that you're doing everything in your favor. So I'm going to open up what the page looks like. So what we realized when we built these review pages, it's not just having like the multiple sites that's going to help you out. The other thing is, because it's a landing page that they're hitting, we can do a couple things that's cool. So you see we have these 2 different Google links. We also have 2 different TripAdvisor links. We're using one for desktop, one for mobile, so we can use different links that have a better chance at capturing legally the cookies of the user so that they're signed in. E-commerce reports, if people have to sign in, there's about a 50% bounce rate. That's why you'll notice whenever you're buying something, it's like pay with Amazon, pay with Apple Pay, pay with anything so that you don't leave. It's key to keep them logged in so they don't bounce, right? So the other thing that we can do because of that is when they click this button, the score, you see how it says you're logged into Google. So what we can do is if you're like, hey, I want Google reviews more than Facebook reviews, which I get. I feel like a Google review is a $100 bill, a Facebook review is a $10 bill, right? I'm going to show you the front end of the page here. So I have the Google hierarchy activated on my account. So when I hit that button, it skips those 3 options because it knows that I'm logged into Google. And so when I go to write a review, boom, shakalaka, already logged in, skipped the other 2 sites as an option because we know that the propensity is higher to leave a Google review if you're logged in and you have an account. I hope that helps. Happy reviewing. Start snagging reviews. You got this. Use these tips. It's not that hard. Those were very small tweaks I showed you in that case study. It's not rocket science. Go get reviews.